Live.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome to another Tortallan Universe live show. This is our 4th live show, and this is for the book Lioness, Rampant, which I should be holding up here, but I forgot to bring it back with me. So, this is the 4th book in the Alana series, and it's the final book in the Alana quartet. And then after this, we'll be continuing on with more Tortallan Universe books, but they will feature different heroines from now on. So, but rereading this series, I've been really excited because there are so many returning characters, and some of them I forgot about. I was like, I didn't remember that this character was in this book, and they are. So I'm excited for you guys to meet those characters in other contexts. Emily's here!
Yay, Emily!
Hi, Emily.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
How exciting.
Or tomorrow, I think. Happy early
birthday. Close enough.
Yes.
Do you have any birthday plans, Emily?
Yes, tell us.
Birthday weekend plans?
Besides hanging out with us, of course.
Yes. Thanks for spending your day with us. Okay, so, and she said, it was yesterday. Okay, I'm sorry. It was yesterday. Hello, Pepsi Cola. Thanks so much. Saturday vibes. That is definitely a good vibe. Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Going out to breakfast is such a fun treat. All right. So, of course, we have to talk about our ratings. Although, Victoria, I don't know if you want to rate it yet.
I probably won't yet.
Okay.
Hold off.
Okay. Victoria is in the last chapter of the book, and she didn't quite finish that last chapter, so she will hold off.
Ill-timed on my part.
You were so close. How about you, Dia? What did you rate this one?
You know, I don't remember. let me look. I do know that I liked it better than book 2 or book 3. So I like 1 and 4 the most out of the series. But let me just look at Storygraph and see what I gave it. Because I really don't remember. Let's see. How about you, Christy? Did you like this one better than book 2 or book 3?
I did. I rated, well, let's see. I rated book 1, 2, and 4 stars. So, and then book 3, I rated 3 stars. So, yeah. So I did like it better.
So I finished this one in July, actually. So I'm going to have to really pull from my memory what it was.
No worries. Yes, nostalgia vibes. I mean, these are just such easy, breezy, fun reads. Like, I can read them really easily. Like, I don't have to work at it. It's just it's super nice, and the nostalgia helps a lot. Like, I'm like riveted whenever I'm reading it. I'm like so
I
focused.
gave it 3.5 stars. That's what I gave it.
Hey, that's great. That's a little higher than even the first book, right? I think it was 3.25 for the book 1.
Yeah, but I think that I think I enjoyed this coming to an end of things more than where it began. So it makes sense that I would have rated it a little higher.
Yes. once we know the end point of the stories, I think it's easier to be like, okay, there were some rough patches in there, but I like where things ended up. So, yeah, when I was like reviewing the series, we should review the series as a whole as well. I forgot to add that to the questions, but when I was reviewing the series as a whole last month after reading book 3, I was like, it's a 3-star series. But after reading book 4, I'm like, well, maybe it's a 4-star series because I rated 3 of them 4 stars. So the ending definitely bumped it up for me, like as a series whole overall.
Oh, good. Good.
Yes.
As someone who has not finished it.
You're so close though. Like you know what happened. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff at the end that you don't, I'm sure, know about, but
I can say like up to the last chapter, I've been thinking 4 stars. So
yay.
like I've really enjoyed this book, definitely more than book 3 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yay, that's exciting. Yes, Emily, exactly. Yes. That's the thing with this first series is it's like easy breezy, really nostalgic and fun, and but there are things to criticize about it. It is her debut. As a whole, it was originally her debut novel, so I'm just like, it's okay. This is her early, but I was interested in her afterwards. She said this was her most popular series, and people say, like, I was watching another read along that did live shows about this series, and they were like, yeah, it held up really well, and so I was like, interesting, because this is my least favorite of the 3 that we're reading, and these are my top 3, but the next 2 series I liked better, both of them. So I'm very interested that this was her breakout series that everybody read apparently at the time. So very interesting. Maybe interesting.
I might have liked it better if it was nostalgic for me.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I imagine so.
I feel like that's 3/4 of the reason why I love Dune as much as I do.
Really?
Because and I've reread it so many times, and it just, it just feels so comfortable. So
yes,
yeah,
that is true. All right.
Emily brought up one of my main criticisms, which is Liam felt pointless, and I felt like he added nothing.
Right.
Ooh, interesting.
Like we could have not had Liam and had a fine story.
I agree.
Interesting. Okay, because I really enjoyed Liam. He's one of the characters I remembered best, which is interesting. Yeah, I think because of the Shang element, I was really intrigued by him. And also the letter at the end made me cry. where he's talking to Alana about like the meaning of dying in battle, like the manner of your death being more important than the fact that you're gone. Yeah, and I feel like he's a very flawed character, but to me it made him very interesting. So you guys, is it okay, so everybody else though has criticisms about it, so maybe we should talk about that first. You guys want to talk about Liam first and Liam and Alana?
Sure.
Okay. My criticism, I guess, of that is I don't understand why Liam is red-haired and therefore white when he's the best of the Shang tradition. That to me is really confusing, because the Shang tradition is clearly not tortallan. So why is a tortallan the best among the Shang tradition? That doesn't make sense. Like, he's supposed to be like a ninja-like character, like something like that. Why is the best ninja in the world a white guy with red hair? That to me was like, what? That made no sense to me. But anyway, and obviously he's a very flawed human. But Alana, to me, he was showing how much Alana has grown with her magic. because he holds the exact opinion about magic that she used to hold. But now in book 4, she's come to accept that part of herself and learned how to use it. And I feel like that was he was like used as a contrast in that sense. So thematically, that's why I thought he was there.
That makes sense.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought of that before, of him like contrasting like his prejudice against magic, and that Alana was sort of like that. I felt like he was more extreme in his prejudice though than Alana was, even.
Yeah,
because he was like way prejudiced against it. But
yeah,
I basically, to be more specific about Liam, I don't mind him there, and like him and Alana like learning from each other, but like they're just them it being in a relationship and then them not being in a relationship, I felt like it was a waste of time. I was like, wait, we could have made them friends and they would have still learned from each other. Like I was like, why did we have to do it? Like and it was like the whole first part of the book was like Liam everything, and so I just felt like it was like an unnecessary romance element where we didn't have to go there with that character if she wanted to add that character. I just thought it was like, why did we do that?
I felt that way too. That was exactly the reason why I didn't really care about him. I think that the whole thing with the contrast of the, you know, him being this person of, you know, not wanting magic and not trusting magic and all of that, and the extreme that he had in that situation, it felt like a repeat to me. It didn't feel like a contrast so much as it felt like, oh, here we are rehashing this old thing again. Thought we were past this, you know, that kind of thing. Although I get that individuals, you know, do have, you know, individual things that they go through, and our experiences as an individual will definitely play into how we relate to and are able to minister to, communicate with those that are going through something similar to what we did. So it just, in the story, to me, it just felt like it was a repeat. So those are my criticisms mainly, and then the whole relationship thing.
Oh, okay. I guess the other reason, when you were talking, I remember there was another reason that I feel like he served to point Alana to George, because Alana started falling in love with George while she was with Liam, because she was comparing them in her head, and she was like, oh, George would be such a better companion right now. So that was another thing. She realized George is what I want. He's everything that I want. So I guess that's the other reason for Liam. But yeah. And he but it was interesting because George, he doesn't ice her out exactly, but he sort of is hesitant to pursue her after that. So there was like a relationship consequence there of her. This was like her first attempt at casual dating and casual sex kind of a thing. So, and it didn't really go well. It didn't seem like it went very well. So, but she learned from it, which was cool. So, yeah. It's interesting because, okay.
I think just like once again, and like there's been something in every book from like book 2 to this one where like I just disagree with Tamora Pierce's tactics when it comes to how Alana deals with men. It's always like it just doesn't work for me.
Yes, exactly. She doesn't even know him. She's like, I'll think about this at a less interesting time. And I'm thinking, shouldn't you think about it like before? I don't know. It just was.
There were so many times that I said that to Alana out loud. Don't you think? You're not thinking here, honey. You're not remembering things well. How did this go the last time you tried something like this? Yeah.
I feel like she does learn from it. But yeah, so in the afterward, she mentioned that she was trying to show her sleeping with whomever she wants was her freedom from the constraints put on nobles. And she does touch on this in later series, like the Protector of the Small series. She talks about this more, about how she disagrees with the nobility controlling their daughters' sex lives, basically. She compares it to horse breeding. And so she has a snob-o-meter, this author does. So that's just something we just don't see eye to eye on, Tammy. Even though I think you're an incredible author. It's just not something.
Yeah.
But she also talked about how in the 70s, that's just how it was. We didn't have AIDS yet. It wasn't dangerous to sleep around with whoever you wanted because STDs could be treated with antibiotics, which is interesting. I didn't realize. I mean, what did you guys think about that? Did that change your opinion on the sort of free love agenda in the series at all, or not really?
No.
No. And I will say that one of the reasons why we didn't have AIDS in the 70s is because the free love movement came about. And it was because of the free love movement and everybody sleeping with whoever they wanted to, however many times they wanted to, or whatever, that it got spread. And that things began to happen. So it may not have been an issue yet, but it was something that was recognized. It just didn't have a name, and it didn't have a widespread thing throughout the population yet. But it was coming. It was coming.
Perhaps as one of the consequences of that.
Right.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about it like that.
And she says most STDs could be treated, and that is true, but not all. And you are still taking not only your life, but the life of whoever might be conceived in the process into your hand. It's also the rise of abortion was during the 70s because of that. So
these are really good points.
That really doesn't change much.
Once again, Tamora Pierce's logic and excuses.
Yes.
They just don't land with me.
Yeah.
Like, nice try.
So I also was not convinced. I thought, okay, well, it's because she's reading comments as she's writing this afterward, and people are commenting on that, and so that's why she's writing this afterward as like a response to that. But my thought is, oops, babies still happen from these kinds of things. And also antibiotic resistant strains of infections have happened because of the overuse of antibiotics. So that wasn't a great move either. And
then, yes, what Emily says.
Yes, exactly. What Emily said.
The pain.
Yeah.
It's not what it's meant for. So, of course,
Right.
experiencing anything outside of what it was intended for to begin with is going to have negative consequences, period.
Yes. Exactly.
Even if it's just emotional.
Yeah, emotional damage, if you guys have seen that name. And I feel like
one.
yes,
Really
it is. I only learned about it like a year ago. I was like, oh, this is funny. I'm behind on things. Yeah, I feel like this series is a perfect example of why it's not smart to sleep around with people you don't know. And I don't think she meant it like that. But that's how it definitely came off for me reading it. Even as a young person, I was like, I wouldn't want to do that. So, yeah, awesome. Well, Cool. I'm glad we all are in agreement on that. Let me go through some more of Emily's comments here. Interesting. Okay, so Protector of the Small is my favorite. That's the third series we're going to read. And then Numair is from the second series. So we'll meet Numair in our next book. So next month we'll be discussing Numair. Numair is like my favorite character that she wrote, period. He's so great. Okay. I think Liam was somewhat necessary. She needed someone who knew her for who she is now, that she has accepted all the parts of herself, her womanhood and her magic. Yeah, that's a good point. She realized he pointed out to her the kind of mate she needs. She needs somebody who does love all of her, and isn't going to put their own constraints on her that don't work with her lifestyle. And that's how she figured that out, I guess. A painful way of doing it, but that's how it happened.
And not just painful for her, it was painful for George.
Yes, definitely. Let's see. And yes, he was incredibly condescending, like their entire relationship.
Yeah.
That was irksome for sure. But is he a lot older than her? I couldn't really tell his age.
I don't know.
Not sure.
I didn't pay attention.
Because I thought he was quite a lot older than her. And because he was a commoner, he wasn't actually raised to think through all of the same issues that she was. She's actually highly educated, and he is not educated at all outside of Shang. So I thought, well, that makes sense. He's afraid of what he doesn't understand. And also Shang taught him to be afraid of magic because they don't include gifted, because they feel like it's cheating. So this is like a Shang community mindset that he has. And if he was quite a bit older than her, it would make, and he also, Alana, she kept making mistakes around him and getting like falling asleep in her saddle and falling off her horse. And, I mean, she kept doing stuff like that because she's only 20. And so he kind of, it seemed like he got the wrong idea about her, that she needed him to protect her. And she really didn't, but he did help her at times, when things would have been messy without him. So yeah, I don't know. Okay. She said in the note that dragons don't live to 40, and he was pushing that. Okay. Because at the end, it does say they know they can live, they live shorter lives. The Shangs live shorter lives generally than other people because all they basically do is fight, which is really dangerous. So I thought, how old can he be then if she's saying that? But 40.
So he's like twice her age.
Yeah, he's twice her age. So that makes sense now.
Older, yeah.
Okay. That makes a little more sense in that perspective.
He read to me like an older, like he would be older than her.
Mm-hmm. But like George is quite a bit older than her too, and he doesn't treat her like that at all. So again, he was like a foil to George. He was like showing off why George is such a gem.
Maybe that was the purpose of him.
Yeah.
The entire purpose, yeah.
To help Alana realize what she wants.
Yeah. Because the whole time I was like reading his story and her story, I was just like, what is this dude doing here? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I know he I guess helps them in the plot somewhat, but I think I don't know. He does help in the plot, but yeah, I feel like as far as a story purpose, he could have been left out. And there could have been like another way that she did it. But that was just how she chose to do it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, George is 7 years older. Okay, thank you. My husband is 7 years older than me. I don't think that's a bad age gap at all. 20 years though is quite a lot. So yeah, I can see that. being a problem.
My in-laws are 10 years apart, and it's great.
Mm. All right. Okay. Why don't we move on here? What about some of the other romantic arcs in the series? You know, like Coram and Rispa, or Eleni, is that her name? And Miles and people.
Oh
What
yeah.
about Syed and John? What did you guys think about all these romantic arcs? There were so many.
I was glad that Jonathan. I'm glad that Jonathan finds Thiet, because like the whole issue with Alana and Jonathan was like she was just not cut out for like being tied to like a king. That's where Jonathan was going, and like that was just not Alana's future and not who she was as a person. And like it becomes clear to Alana, like in book 3, that like that's just not going to be the life that works for her. So like I thought it was nice to have for Jonathan to have someone who actually like would fit into that role, and like is like she's royalty in her own, with her own people, and then like it just like it works better. It just fits better. So I was like, that was a nice thing to do with Jonathan's character, like to make him happy also in the end and find a match for him. That made sense.
I thought she was too good for him, though.
Yeah.
And I did really like the relationship between Alana and her. I thought that was really sweet, really special. And I can see why Alana would want to introduce someone that she really likes to Jonathan. And I think also because she knew Jonathan so well, it was easy for her to say, I know somebody that you should marry.
Yes.
you know, so I thought that was really good. It did feel just a little bit unbelievable to me that you would introduce someone to a former lover.
Yeah.
I don't know how truly how true to life that would be. But we are in a fantasy world, so let's go for it. And then you know what? I'm trying to remember the whole Miles situation. I'm not remembering the love arc there very well.
There wasn't a lot of focus on it. It was like they just kind of ended up like, oh, they're together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of page time for it, I feel like.
Yes.
The guy that has been with Alana the entire time that taught her swordplay and all of that. What was his name?
Coram.
Coram. Thank you. His love arc I liked.
Yeah.
I thought that was really sweet, really special. Although still, I wish they would have gotten married first.
Yeah.
But oh well, not the day and age, I guess.
Yeah. I know. The assumption that she makes is that, of course, you're sleeping together as soon as you realize you have mutual attraction. You're sleeping together. And that's healthy. And if you're not sleeping together, that's like unhealthy repression, which is just something I disagree with. Some things should be controlled. Some impulses need to be controlled, and there's a good reason for that.
Well, it's just like with magic, right? She has a certain point that she knows she can go to without it affecting her. But if she exceeds that point, then it's not only going to affect her like physically, as far as being tired and and all of or sick and having to recover and all of those kinds of things, but it's also going to be something that she may not come back from, as far as going over to the dark side. kind of thing. And so she knows that she's got to control those impulses. With the sword, when the sword was initially an issue in, was that book 2 or book 3? And she had it was 3. Okay. And she, then had to meld the broken sword with the evil that Roger was doing with the other sword. And she then had, a little bit more control over it. I'm just saying, I think that she showed restraint in so many ways in other things in the book, but not in relationships, not with guys.
Yes, that's a really good point. Why wouldn't you make that, like, that concept, I guess? And there's other areas too where this author said, I just had to think about it a little more. And then I got to the end of the thought and I realized, oh, I wouldn't make that choice again if I was rewriting this series. And one of those things was George being a thief because she was robbed in New York. And she was like, oh, thieving, not good. And I was like, you never learned that before somebody stole from you? But she realized, I'm not going to make another character who's a thief. And that's why she reformed George. So that was really interesting. I feel like this is one of those things where in retrospect, she was like, yeah, sleeping around with whoever you think looks nice without even knowing them first. Not wise in the long run.
No, not at all.
Good afternoon, Vitsgrad. Welcome.
Welcome.
I know. I thought this was so cute. And George being like, to get a new paw at my age is a fine thing. That's so cute.
Yeah.
I liked how.
Now I'm remembering. I love it. Okay.
I liked how supportive George was of it. Like,
yes.
he was very like my mom is happy, yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is sweet.
I do remember it now. That was cute.
Yes.
Yeah, I did like that.
Like an older I personally love an older person romance in books. It's probably my favorite kind of romance in books. It's like an older person romance. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. She said in the afterword that the quest part was not originally in the first draft. Yeah. I was like, what was it then? What were you doing? Like, what? I don't know. I don't know what else she would have been writing. But anyway. Let's see. Yeah.
Jonathan just
Yeah, exactly.
This is like
why I was like,
theme.
I don't think I liked Fight for him.
No, you're right. Really? She's definitely better than him, for sure. Yeah. Jonathan as a character, was very disappointing just in the whole series, because when in book 1, I thought they were their friendship was really sweet. Alana and Jonathan, I liked how that was developing, and then it just took such a downhill turn with that character. It was really disappointing.
Yeah. He turns almost into a Roger without the magic, to me. That's how off-putting he was.
Wow. That's intense.
He was so controlling. He was manipulative. He didn't have other people's best at heart. He didn't. He was trying to get what he wanted out of a situation. There were just point after point after point. I'm like, this is just Roger with a pretty face. I mean, from what I understood, Roger was actually a pretty good looking guy too, but he's just Roger with a little less magic and a little more page time where we've gotten to like certain things about him. And yeah, I didn't like Jonathan.
Well, they are related, right? Like,
yeah, they are. They are.
Related.
They are.
Cousins.
I know.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he had a grow. I feel like he grew. And I feel like the attitude of, not wanting to go back on his word and trying to say, Alana, we could still get married. I feel like that's something like I've read that happening in Victorian books. And so maybe that it might have been kind of a throwback to this time, if a guy has a hint that a girl likes him and he has encouraged that at all, he feels like obligated to like marry her. And obviously he was planning on marrying her. Like that's really clear in retrospect. Like he thought they were going to get married and she was going to be queen. So I guess that casts their whole relationship in a very different light for me. He just didn't understand how committed she was to being a knight, and he wasn't valuing her goals as highly. And he was like, why wouldn't any woman want to be queen? So yeah, I definitely didn't think he was a bad guy. Like he didn't do anything like Roger did, to my opinion. But he definitely was flawed and needed to grow up. So yeah.
I think that if he would have allowed himself to go in some of the directions that he was going with some of the things, and even though he was like, why wouldn't any woman want to be queen? I felt like it was worded differently than that. It was more of a thing of any girl would want me. Any girl would want this, kind of thing. And it just felt like it was 2 steps further and I could be Roger. I could be, well, of course I want all the power. Of course I want to make other people realize just exactly who's in charge here. And that becomes obvious to me too when he's talking about his own father, when Jonathan is talking about his own father, and the kindness versus being a good king. I don't to me that sounds like something Roger would say. That doesn't sound like something that doesn't sound honoring. It doesn't sound self-effacing. It's putting myself into a position that I have not yet been tried in or tested in, but I am going to make this statement about the fact that my father was more kind than he was good, or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, until you get put in the position that your dad was in, let's see how you handle it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
spoiler alert, we will see how he handles it in future books.
Okay. But it was just, to me, it just felt like he could have gone in that direction. If it wasn't for the fact that he had people that were constantly kind of pulling him back a little bit, and saying, no, that's not the way it's going to happen, or no, that's not what I want for my life. And you can't make me, kind of thing. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, he definitely, pride was his big fault. He was very arrogant.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't hate Jonathan or like see him. Well, I did hate him in book 3, but like I feel like by book 4, it was like, okay, like I don't think he's not like a villain in Alana's life and in the kingdom. Like he I feel like you just see Jonathan and Alana and the ways in which their paths are just like way different. And like that's kind of, I guess, the lesson that Alana and Jonathan have to learn is like we would never work. We would have never worked because of these like main core differences. That's how I've read Jonathan, especially in book 4, is like I'm coming into my own as the king and stepping into this new role and learning what that means. But yeah, I still was against Jonathan from like book 3 for sure. like I don't want them to get together.
You were Team George.
I was
very
early on, like book 2.
Yeah.
And nobody was Team Liam either.
No.
Team Liam was like, what are you doing here? What is Liam doing here?
Welcome, the dawdling writer. I've seen you've posted some other comments, so we'll go through those too. The thread of her love arcs felt like, relationships are fine and all, but my career knighthood ambition is better until both she and George are old enough to settle down a bit. Yeah. I think relationships were not her focus. She wasn't making decisions about her life based on them. She was very like career oriented, I guess you could say. Although she's only 20 when she settles down and gets engaged. So, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's still young.
Yeah, it's still really young. So, but girls at this time period were married and having babies by 14. So, because people were dying by age 40, and it's not just the dragons who were dying by age 40. Like you could die of a bad cough. I just feel like you could die from a lot of stuff in the Middle Ages. So it really was a different time in that sense. She really wanted to get out and see some of the world. And after doing that, by age 20, she's already ready to settle down. So yeah, I think that's a good point.
She's an old maid.
Yep. 20. All right. So are you talking about Liam being in the book? Because you're right, actually. Yeah, we didn't know a lot of commoners in this series, like George and his friends. Those were the commoners, I guess. We do meet some of them, like Rispa and Salam, and there are commoners.
Well, the whole tribe that she ends up with.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. They are also. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there are. So she just has pretty. She has a pretty diverse economic range, and he was from a different culture. Like Shang is a very different culture. So that's a good point too. Even though he was clearly tortallan, he wasn't like tortallan by culture. So very interesting.
I'm wondering, I can't remember Liam's like backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Was his mother or father Shang, and he just came out looking more like one or the other of them?
I don't think so. I think the Shang found him in a village somewhere. And
yeah, he was recruited as a boy. He was recruited and like taken into the training. Like,
okay. For some reason, I'm not remembering it real well. Probably has something to do with it being a whole
in July.
month.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, he talks about how they came to his village when he was like 9 or 10 or something. I forget how old, but
this is interesting because she actually, in a future series, sort of debates this concept that sexual restraint in aristocratic circles wasn't really a thing. And I've read that sexual restraint wasn't a thing in the lower classes, whereas it was more in the higher classes. In the lower classes, because people all lived in one room, kids knew about sex from a really early age because their parents were doing it in the same room with them. And so commoners were having sex really young, having babies really young, and that would just contribute to the poverty of their situation, unfortunately. But in aristocratic circles, it was more common for the virginity of women to be closely guarded. They would have, minders, so to speak. They would have ladies with them, and they wouldn't have like private interviews with men and stuff. So I actually disagree with that.
I don't know if I would disagree with it completely. I think it was more secret in the upper classes. I think that if you were going to do those things, you weren't doing it openly. You weren't doing it, without care of who knew, kind of thing. But you were
like
still
maybe married people having affairs and stuff.
Well, even more than that. I mean, if you think about kings, and let's take Henry VIII. And the
Lots
fact
of,
that there was just a series of women in his bed, and most of them were from some sort of an aristocratic family. They may not have been royal, but they were aristocratic because they were ladies' maids, or they were, that kind of thing. They were the queen's women, oftentimes.
just courtesans.
Yeah, just different things.
Well, that sounds fun.
And so I'm just saying, I don't think that it was necessarily, the statement isn't necessarily untrue, but it's not, it just wasn't this open thing where women were acting basically like men and just taking to bed whoever they wanted.
And it makes sense. Like the women who were openly doing that, we know their names because it was so unusual. Because for women, not only can you get pregnant, and not only does the shame of the situation fall on the women in historical past, but women actually get STDs worse than men. Like they have more symptoms and stuff like that. So it just completely makes sense that women would not be like openly doing this kind of thing in the aristocratic circles. But I know too that the whole cuckolding thing, that was something that happened for sure among like married couples in the nobility. So like you said, the kings particularly had like hosts of courtesans, and so the ladies would just be kind of used and thrown away. It seemed like, I don't know, I'm reading Wolf Hall right now, and that's happening. So yeah, that's a really good point. That's a good point. So it's not like a super clear yes or no. I mean, human nature will find a way, right? Okay. But she is not. Yes, that's true. She's not ready for children yet. Give us a couple years together. Yeah, good point. Alana, and she's getting married, but she's not like, let's start pumping out them babies immediately. But she said, then we can have as many children as you want, which I was like, that's cute. Okay. And one of their children has her own book series, actually. But I didn't read that whole series, the Trickster's Choice series.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yes. Aristocratic schools, Jonathan tribe, mostly finding herself in New Cultural George, commoners, unconventional leader, Liam, New Culture, Marshall. Yeah. She has quite a diversity of not necessarily races, but definitely, I mean, there's like at least 2 races, but definitely of culture. There's cultural and economic diversity. Is there a lot of cultural diversity? Not a ton, I guess. I don't know. So it's not like a monoculture, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know about a ton of cultural diversity, but between the tribe and the castle, you know, and the culture there, the
Mm.
culture of where she grew up.
Mm.
There's, you know, the culture of the tribe, and then the culture of the Chang, and then George in the commoner kind of arena,
Mm.
more than George. If I'm trying to remember who, there was something, I'll think of it. But anyway, yeah, I think there wasn't a ton maybe, but I thought that it was pretty well,
Mm.
you know, I mean, we got to see a cross
Mhm.
section. So that was
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
How about Claw being Raylon?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. And
Yes,
I was
good
like,
twist.
wait, who's Raylon? What, I know the name, and I couldn't remember. I was like, well, he's like way back in book 1.
Yes. I was waiting for that reveal because I remembered that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool to bring the
Him
bully
back.
back.
Yeah.
bring the bully back.
Yeah, 'cause he was like her bully, right?
She did it with Roger too.
Yeah,
And still a bully.
bullies just keep coming back.
Yep. Oh, both Emily and the Darling Writer knew about this is the series that's about Alana and George's daughter. Yes, same. I was waiting because I was like, okay, this was a good twist. I thought that was a good twist.
Yeah.
It was.
I didn't think it was
excellent.
predictable.
No, I didn't see it coming at all. I mean, how many people did we hear about that we just barely heard about, that we wanted to know more about, but we never heard about again?
Yes.
So,
That's
yeah. Then
This one we
to
did
have
hear
this
about.
happen, it was like, oh, she doesn't forget about characters.
Yeah. And then Sicham too. Or is it Shicham? That name seems Korean to me. So I'm gonna say Shicham because they don't have the SI sound, they have an SHI sound. So Shicham, he was from book 1 too, wasn't he? No, or book 2, I think, actually, now that I think about it. Because that's when Alana first went to visit Tom and she went with George.
Oh, yeah.
So that I was like, oh, nice. I didn't remember him at all, that he was like, I actually didn't remember him, period, at all. But he was like instrumental to the finale.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
I liked him a
Me
lot.
too. Me too. Oh, hang on 1 second.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Sorry, Kevin. We sometimes share email addresses on different accounts, and so he needed a verification code. Anyways, yeah, that was fun. That was fun seeing Claw again and Shicham, and what? Oh, speaking of Tom, I couldn't figure out a way to like work him into the questions. But what was your guys' thoughts on Tom's ending? Did you get to his ending yet, Victoria?
Sad.
No, I don't know what happens to Tom.
Okay. Okay.
It was
All I know is like the magic that he's being poisoned and he's like sick. Like the magic sick, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm guessing it doesn't go well for him, but
No,
you do find out what's going on there.
okay.
Oh, I was sad.
Yeah.
I just kind of went with the book. I was just like,
I know. It was like wasted potential.
Why did this one have to be the one? I was really hoping for more of a redemption arc there, I think. And I mean, it was beautiful in the end what he had to say, but the fact that it took that much to get him there, I was just
he had a very low bottom basement arc. Like he had to get to rock bottom before I guess actually Rowland probably has even more of a basement rock bottom because he didn't have any redemption. But Tom was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close to rock bottom. But at the end, he did kind of, you're right. That was beautiful what happens at the end.
Yeah. So it just made me sad.
Yeah.
I wanted so much more for him, for Alana's sake too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What always gets me is Faithful. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Victoria.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say Tom has been a confusing character to me in the series because I felt like we only saw him. We see him very little. Like if you think about it in the series, and I like it feels like even though he's Alana's twin, like I've always felt like we never really get to know Tom and like what motivates him. We just know that he's like very opposite her and is like going down kind of a dark path. But like I feel like we don't really learn a lot about why or like his character. So I always just felt like Tom was really underdeveloped. It sounds like he tries to like develop him more maybe with his ending, but I always felt like we didn't do it. Like I wanted to know more about Tom, especially because he's so closely related to Alana. I felt like we didn't really get a lot of that with him.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think the idea of Tom is really interesting to me, but the execution makes him feel a bit like a plot device. Like we have to bring him back. That's why he's there. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying too. Was like plot device, but I wanted him to be more developed as a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to be able to see him in like the next in whatever series it was you were talking about, the trickster one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and to see him as an uncle, I think would have been really interesting.
Older Tom would have been a wiser Tom.
I think so, especially after what happened in this book.
Yeah. And he was so powerful and had so much potential, which it seems like a lot of people who have a lot of potential go wildly astray. I mean, they like get in drugs or whatever, you know, and it's really sad. It's like what this person could have done if they had the right guidance and had friends. But like She-Chan tried to be Tom's friend when Tom was at the cloister, and he just wasn't willing to do that because he was young and stupid. But Alana was more amenable to developing relationships and love with people, but she had a really hard time too, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is a really good point. Yeah. When ambition overwhelms ethics. That's a really good way to put it.
Yep, I think that was Roger for Jonathan as well.
Good point. Yes, they're like the dark version. And then maybe Alex. Is there another pair maybe with Alex? Who is he mirroring? I feel like Alana too, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe these guys will have an answer.
Yeah, what do you guys think? That's a really good point, though, Gia. Very interesting. And so Pride, I didn't really think about this, but yeah, Pride is Jonathan's fault, Tom's fault. Oh, and also,
Ryland's,
huh?
Ryland's fault too. Pride, totally. I mean, that's the whole reason. Yeah, when he gets in fights and things with Alana when she
yes, the bully guy.
Yeah.
Ryland, yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like that makes complete sense actually, because when we're talking about law enforcement, they have to be able to check their own pride at the door with their job, because they have so much power over like normies, like just regular old citizens. And so having pride be a huge theme with, I guess, people who have a lot of power, and especially people who end up being like law enforcement type figures, that makes a lot of sense. I bet pride is probably a fault that a lot of them have to work on, because it would be somebody with a lot of pride who's like, yeah, I'm going to go into law enforcement, ruling the kingdom, like, who's attracted to a position like that would naturally probably have a lot of pride. So that would make sense as like a thematic moral argument, I guess. People with potential going wildly astray. I think this is one of Pierce's messages. She worked as a house mother for a group home. Yes. She probably saw it all the time. It is really sad. Like a lot of really troubled teens that Kevin works with. He's seen it again and again. Like, you know, they end up in gangs, they end up dead. I mean, it's like they end up in drugs, and they're really, really intelligent kids, you know, highly intelligent, but their situation gets the better of them. So she probably did see that happening.
Yeah.
And probably Victoria sees that too in her workplace.
Not to the level Kevin does.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Not with 10-year-olds.
Hopefully you see potential fulfilled a lot.
Yeah.
Kevin is who sees it when it goes bad. That's his job. Good point. And Alex did use that relationship with Duke Roger to gain
social status.
Yeah. Good point.
I was really mad about Alex. I really liked him at the beginning in the first book. So anyway.
I know, yeah. He was another one where you're like,
darn it.
Redemption arc, come on. How long do you guys have to talk today? Because I don't want to go too long. I just realized we're a little later than we normally are for these live shows. So
it's just been a little over an hour. I'm okay.
You're okay?
I have a question. How did everyone feel about just the concept of Duke Roger being brought back to life and like being resurrected for this book? Like, were you like, oh, that's a great twist, or were you like, oh, that's why? why are we resurrecting this character? I'm curious.
Honestly, great question.
I could see almost like the possession aspect with Tom being something that was, you know, understandable or practical or but the to have him actually physically back and be able to see him and talk to him, I had a problem. I was just like, not only would I have not wanted that if I was anybody in the royal family, although I understand, you know, that they think that Alana maybe went overboard with killing him to begin with, but the fact that he was dead, I don't know. Does anything ever come of good ever come of bringing back the bad guy? Come on.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Tom feels a bit like a plot device, because who would do that? Who would like resurrect that guy? Like, and I feel like Duke Roger as a person wasn't all that well developed either, honestly. Like Victoria was saying about Tom, like I felt the same way about Roger, because he basically comes back and he's mad. And that's, I guess, his defining characteristic. But I wouldn't have even known that except that she said that. Like, I just feel like there was more said than shown with Roger. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He obviously had charisma because he had power over people.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just felt really not well fleshed out to me. I don't know. He's just a very evil bad guy, you know?
Yeah.
I with Tom wanting his power, you know, I can understand that. But why did you need to bring him back to life in order to have that? Why couldn't it have been done a different way? But if that happened, I do understand. I mean, as far as like wanting his power, then I could understand it being almost like a possession. But I don't get the, why do you need to be actually physically here in body? Yeah. Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was curious what you guys thought about that, because I personally feel like a resurrection trope is extremely hard to pull off effectively, and it has the risk of feeling like lazy, like the author just needed a villain to come back, like a villain that already exists, where like we could have done something different or had like a new villain, you know. To me, I'm like not my favorite use, not my favorite device in writing, and I just think it's very difficult to do and try to do it well.
I agree. Do you think this one was not done the best? Is that what I'm picking up?
Yeah, I really agree with your point, Christy, about like Roger. Like, we're just told a lot more about him than shown about him when he does come back. That's a really good point, because I definitely felt that. It's like, okay, he's there, he's back.
Oh yeah, he's there, he's back. Oh, and he doesn't have any magic.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, but yes, he does.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like the resurrection plot and the plot to off Jonathan. Yeah, I totally forgot about the plot to off Jonathan. You said this in the beginning, Emily. You said that the ending was rushed, and I guess all of her endings were kind of rushed, because I remember everybody had that same thought about book 2. And through book 1, it felt like everything was just skimmed over. And in fact, one of Tiffany's friends read book 1, and even though I enjoy book 1, this friend rated the book 1 star because she said it feels like a book about a fantasy book. I was like, that is so accurate, though. I think there's a lot of telling instead of showing, and a lot of time jumps, like really severe just generalizations and stuff. And that's just part of it being a debut series, and that's why it's not like a 5-star series for me. Yes, like Palpatine. Exactly.
Yeah, you see it from time to time in fiction where characters resurrected.
Yeah.
What did Emily say about we should totally what?
Oh, we should totally believe Roger that he doesn't have magic.
Of course.
That actually was pretty smart that he offloaded his magic onto Tom. That was pretty interesting. Because I couldn't remember what was happening there, and I couldn't figure it out either. I was like, it has something to do with Roger, but Alana eventually figured out, oh, their colors are mixed in Tom because he has Duke Roger's magic. And I thought that particular element was pretty well done, I thought. Interesting.
Yeah. It was rushed in the first book too. I felt like it was like, boom, he's gone. You know? So I felt like it was rushed in that one too. I would have loved for justice to be meted out a little bit more thoroughly. My sense of justice was not being fulfilled.
I know they say I'm not a person who knows a lot about writing or like does writing, but I know they say that like ending a novel is like really challenging, and it does make me remember that like Tamora Pierce was young when she wrote these and like was still like kind of like working on her craft and like the craft of the novel and trying to separate this big story into 4 stories for the publisher and stuff. So I wonder if like that had something to do with it, of like not knowing exactly, I don't know, how to do it effectively yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely think that's true. And it was almost accidental, which is frustrating. Yeah.
Totally.
Well, let's see. What else should we talk about? Maybe we should talk some more about George. I feel like I was remembering that I thought there was going to be more of George in these books, but he almost, I mean, he does get his own perspectives in the book, but as far as like being with Alana, again, more told than shown. And I feel like John and maybe even Liam spent more time with Alana in the books than George did.
Yeah. I think I was a little actually surprised at the end when she wanted to be with him, because well, partly because, you know, he had stepped away and he wasn't really like seeing her or thinking about that kind of situation any longer because of Liam. So I was a little surprised that he was just like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take you. But also just the whole thing of not, I don't know, they're just it was like, it was almost like he was her last resort rather than because she really loved him. I don't know. I didn't feel that there was a real love relationship built. And that maybe that's okay, because maybe, you know, maybe it comes later in marriage and all of that. But it just felt like she was almost settling for what she knew she could get in this relationship that she wasn't sure she could get in any other relationship. And she wanted a relationship. And so she was willing to do this with George because she knew what he would expect of her. But it wasn't because she was just like so in love with him that it didn't sound like that to me anyway. You know, it didn't feel to me like I can't imagine life without you. I love the way that you look at me. I love the way that you support me. I love the way that, you know, all of the, it was just, I know that he would do this in this situation, or I know he would not want me to change in this way, you know, that he would want me to do this. And so it feels like she just kind of goes for him because she knows him, because she knows kind of what he would feel about the situations that she might get herself into, and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I love George as a character, though. I do. There was he was a puppy dog character from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I just loved him. So, I mean, there were things that he did that I was like, you stupid.
Yeah.
Quit it. Don't say things like that. Don't do that, you know, but you do that with puppies too.
George the puppy.
I feel like that is his animal. Like that is the animal he is.
Oh, we didn't talk about Faithful, you guys.
Yeah. That was hard. That part also makes me cry every time I read these books. I cry about Faithful. But somebody said, I didn't remember this, but apparently Faithful is in other books. I think it might be the Trickster's Choice series. Maybe Emily and the Dawdling Writer could tell me that. I think Faithful comes back in those books. So it's clearly...
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, clearly, I'm not really sure what Faithful is exactly, but it had something to do with the constellation. Like, he became a constellation when he died. So that was interesting.
Yeah, well, and he was a gift from the goddess to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just going to say, you know, if she really wants to bring someone back from the dead, why can't it be Faithful? And now you're telling me that maybe that does happen.
So okay, Emily says she doesn't recall Faithful coming back. So apparently Faithful's name is Pounce in this other series. So, but I don't really remember at all. So
I like Faithful better.
Yeah. Faithful is the goddess's cat. Okay. Okay. Yes, the Dawdling Writer also wanted more Rogue King time.
Indeed. Less Liam.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh my gosh, Victoria, you might have just fixed the book for us. Just replace Liam with George.
Yes.
That's the book we wanted.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're brilliant, Victoria. You fixed the biggest problem from book 4.
Well, I was like, Liam was like the first half of the book. Like, it was a lot of pages. I was like, can we be done with this?
Yeah. I know. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely like, he's not, well, I feel like he just doesn't know where he stands, like, after all that. He's like, so what's, like, what are we? Or, like, are we anything?
Yeah.
Her Fall Guy. See, I was reading it differently because for me, Alana's development over the course of this series is learning how to commit, basically, because she has trouble with that. Like, she has trouble admitting that she loves other people, and she has trouble seeing that they love her. And so for me, the fact that George liked her so much, I think that really terrified her, because she was like, I don't want to start something with him when he's expecting that much from me. Like, she was kind of afraid of the expectations. And so in the end, she realized, I do love him and I want to be with him. Like, we would be a good match. I've tried out some other guys. Neither of them were good matches. It went horribly. George has been faithful this whole time. And I guess that's, so I saw it that way, but at the same time, I was like wishing that he got more page time, especially with Alana, because he did get some page time. Like, we got his whole kind of thing with Rowland, but it just, there wasn't that much time with Alana herself, which I wanted. So, yeah. But it wasn't romantic.
I would say the Dawdling Writer, I did feel that in book 3. Like, literally, that's what Alana does. Is she's like, well, we might as well just do this. Yeah. Like, she literally says that. And that's why I hated book 3 so much, too.
Yeah.
It was like, that was so not how you should enter this, Alana. Like,
right.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. The guy falling harder works well for an ambitious partner, though. Interesting. That's awesome. I think also the guy falling harder works great for romance. I'm writing a romance right now, and it's way easier to write a romance that readers are going to be rooting for if the guy falls in love first instead of like dating other girls during story pages. If he's dating other girls, everybody's going to be like, nah, he didn't like her instantly.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And like Edmund in Mansfield Park, he falls in love with another woman and then sees his mistake later and then recognizes, oh, Fanny's grown up. I could marry her. It was like a Ron and Hermione situation. Hermione, you're a girl, you know, and she's like, well spotted. And everybody hates Edmund except me. I love Edmund.
I loved Edmund. I just didn't like his blindness to himself, his self-deception.
Yes. He was very easily deceived.
But I loved the fact that I loved the fact that Fanny loved him because of his kindness toward her. And then also because he was kind when everybody else wasn't. So there was a lot to love about Edmund.
Oh, you're the only other person in this universe that I have heard say that. Thank you, Dia. No, but everybody else I know is like, ew, Edmund.
He's actually my favorite Jane Austen guy. Yep. My favorite.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know.
Henry Tilney is second. And neither one of them are like up there with other people, it seems like.
Oh, with Darcy.
Yes, I know. Darcy. I don't know why Darcy's the top. He's a great character.
I know. He's the one that everyone knows. It's like Darcy, everything.
I was always like, I love Bingley. Not Darcy. But Darcy is great for entertainment value, I have to say. But
Darcy has the crowd appeal.
Yes.
Well, he did fall first. He fell first.
There you go. That's it. That's why he has the crowd appeal.
I think we have found the thread. Okay, the cat comes back in both the Immortals and Tricksters. Does he? Okay, maybe it's the Immortals quartet because that's what we're reading next. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of because I was like, I feel like that's true. I feel like there was another cat. So maybe that's what I'm remembering. Thank you, darling writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
the cat
really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I think we're gonna have a good time with the other series.
Hoping.
Yes, the Protector of the Small concept is girl becomes a knight without magic, and so she's like a totally different person than Alana. But she doesn't have the magic help. Very interesting. Except Pierce can't resist magic and gives the MC quests through the Knight's Chamber. Yeah. We haven't read that one yet. So that'll be, yeah. She didn't want to start something not when she had worked so hard to be a knight and wanted adventure. She didn't want a husband and family. Well, yeah. And I think she recognizes it would have been really hard to be a knight and a mother, like fully committed to both. And I think she wants to do things right. But once she's kind of gotten some of the, I want to use those 8 years I just spent becoming a knight to go do something. I want to use that education for good. And she has like the biggest, craziest adventure you could imagine, getting the Dominion Jewel, which we didn't talk about at all yet. Yikes. And she doesn't want to I appreciate this because, she wants to do it right, I guess I would say. She wants to fully commit if she's going to commit. But there are birds. Yes, there are birds in the Protector of the Small that I love. We will get there. And in the Immortals quartet, the next one we're reading, animals are like a huge thing in that one. And then it continues on in the Protector of the Small. And I think that's part of why I love those two series even more, is because there's more animal companion stuff and it's so cozy. Like,
Oh, good. Oh, I'm excited even more now.
yay. I'm glad. I have really high hopes for those next 2 books for you guys. I have high hopes for series for you guys. Although Emily said Protector of the Small is her least out of the 3. So,
so the one we're reading next, the Immortals, right? Is it because like I have the first book and it's a very like middle grade cover. Is it a middle grade series or is it not? Or is it like a young adult series? Because my cover makes it look like it's middle grade.
Honestly, I think it feels more young adult in a lot of ways just because of the age of the girl, but it doesn't have the same sexual content that the Alana series did, which is why I think she knew her audience better at this point. She knew who she was writing the book for. And she was writing it for actual teenagers. You know, she wasn't writing it for adults reading teenage books. But I think middle graders could read this safely, but there are some darker themes. Like there's some death and dark magic and things like that. So it just depends on what you're trying to have your child stay away from. You know, some parents might feel like not a middle grade series. But other parents might be fine with it. But I would say probably still it just feels more young adult to me. It feels like what the modern young adult fantasy genre should be.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah, because I have like one of the older covers and it's like just like a badger on the cover and I'm like this just looks like a middle grade series.
Yes. A badger is on the cover?
Yeah, I think so.
Badgers are like one of my favorite animals. I love them. So yay.
Oh my gosh. I'm so highly anticipating this now. Woo. There is a relationship that is started. So, but it's not, I think, until book 3 that there's any like relationship talk, really.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 books probably feel more middle grade, but then by the 3rd book she's like 17 or something, and so things. But there's, like I said, not the same content.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That was interesting because she just like goes in and steals another kingdom's jewel. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Imperialism.
So she reforms George, so he's not a thief. She makes Lana into one.
Yes. Very interesting choice there, Miss Pierce. Again, maybe one of those things that the blindness of youth. Maybe later she thought about it more. I don't know. But imperialism. I thought the 3rd book was more imperialism coded because Jonathan, a white king of Tortal, becomes the ruler of all the Bajir.
Yeah.
So
what's his title? The
voice of the tribes.
Yeah, voice.
I was like, Jonathan becomes the voice of the tribes? Jonathan's he's not Bajir. Why is he their voice?
It's like, what? White?
Yeah.
Red hair? Why is he a Shan?
Okay. Okay, Dawdling Writer would call it YA. Emily would call it YA. Okay, yeah. I think so. There is kissing, I should say. There's kissing. Usually in middle grade books, there's not kissing.
Right,
so maybe that's what makes it YA.
Yeah. I asked because, so like I've had a copy of Wild Magic for like a really long time because I bought it for middle grade March because I thought it was middle grade based on the cover. But apparently it's not.
I mean, again, I read these somewhere between ages 9 and 12 for the first time, so I think it's not like wildly inappropriate for kids, but yeah, it does feel more YA. The Badger plays a big role. Yeah.
There you go, Gia.
I'm so excited.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to post one of the comments because I don't know if you guys would consider it a spoiler. So we're skipping that comment.
Oh, okay. I can't see the comments, so that's okay.
Okay.
Unless you post it, I can't see them.
Okay. Now, how much time do you guys have? I don't want to keep going if you guys are like, oh, I need to.
Yeah, I am going to have to.
Yeah, I should probably get going too.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Should we wrap up with our like favorite maybe moment from the series, just like a quick one, and then or final thought, if you have any final thoughts that you want to wrap up with, please share.
My favorite moment from the entire series. Ooh, I didn't think about that.
It doesn't have to be your most favorite, but like one that might stick with you.
Well, I'll tell you the one that has stuck with me, but it's because of the fact that I didn't get any answers, and I wanted more, and that is the scene in the first book when they go into the old city with all of the old gods or whatever they are, and stuff. I wanted to know, number one. I have like all these points that I wanted to know more about that we just don't get any. They never come back up. They never get any answers for. But I loved the kind of the intensity of that, the way that it really threw Jonathan and Alana together, and really proved the mettle of Alana. And also just that it was a good like eye-opening experience for her as far as Roger went, and just there were so many little things that happened in that one episode of the novel that I think that was probably one of my favorite parts. The other part that really sticks out is just Faithful in general.
Yeah.
I just loved him. I loved him. And I loved Miles. And I loved Sensual. And or
yes.
whatever, however, how do you say his name? The one that came back at the end that tried to help Tom.
Oh, yeah, Shisham.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I liked several of the characters, but the moment in the old city, I think, was one of the things that really stood out to me.
Good one.
Yeah, actually, that's another thing. I was just disappointed that we never learned more about that and like the gods that they defeated and like who they were. I was like, that was such a setup for like learning more about the magical side of the world, and then we just never revisited it. So I was sad about that. But like, yeah, I liked book one so much. Oh well.
Yeah.
We went in a different direction.
I'm going to be very curious about your whole series rating once you finish book 4, Victoria.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I still have one more. I still have the last chapter to read, so I don't know how well I can answer exactly. But I will say one of my favorite things in this book was actually like her coming back to Tord Hall and like just like the reunion of everybody, and like there was a very like kind of happy, cozy feeling towards like the middle of the book when she comes back and everybody's like happy to see her and she's like catching up with everybody, and I was like, oh yay, we're back in like the cozy castle with like, and you kind of see like all of Alana's friends and like what they mean to each other. So I was like, oh, that's like the good vibes of the series that I liked. And then another scene that I loved, even though like Alana was like, no, I'm not. I'm not ready for this. Was like when George first like proclaims his love to her. I just thought was really sweet. That was like one of my favorite moments. It was in book 2, and when he's like telling her that he he's like, I'm devoted to you, and I was just like, I love George. Even though I didn't respond well, but
yeah. Oh, that was a really great moment. I love that moment too. Yes, this is a really good point. I even thought about saying this. Y'all are gonna love the Immortals because it's all about the magic. Like the magic gets a really thorough development in this one.
Good. Yeah, I do feel like overall this whole quartet feels like a new writer, and it feels like there's so many things that are underdeveloped and that have potential, and like she has such good ideas, and she starts those ideas, and then they're just not entirely satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been a theme from like book 2 and then book 3, and I still have to finish this one, but so yeah, that's how I felt about Alana.
Christy, we didn't hear your favorite moment.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, hang on. I don't like. She describes how they all age. Like she was only gone for 2 years. She's only 20. How does she now have crow's feet? Yeah, I guess her life is just that stressful. Yeah. Favorite moments. I really think the ending in this one. I actually really love the ending because she goes off into the desert and she really finds her home with the Vizier, and she finds them a restful people to be around, and she really feels like she belongs there. And I really didn't feel like that was forced. It really felt right. It really felt like she was a member of the Bloody Dragon Tribe or whatever their name is. Bloody Hawk. So that was really beautiful that she's able to go into the desert and mourn for her losses there, and that she doesn't just immediately jump into getting married. After that, she takes time to herself to just sort of come down from all the action of her life. I feel like the ending of this book, the climax, it ages her in a way, and I don't know how long that was, but I felt like that felt right, and I felt like that was a mature choice. It didn't end with like, oh, her running up to George and them making out and whatever. It ended up with, her reflecting on the people that she lost through this whole thing. And I thought that was really beautiful. And I loved the scene where George sees Alana in a dress for the first time. That was like a highlight of the series for sure. It was so funny.
That was so funny.
And the moment too when Alana realizes that Coram has sacrificed most of his life to raising her, and she thanks him for that.
Yeah, that was really beautiful.
Like, yeah, because she's like, you could have been a great father. And he's like, pretty much, I was your father, and I don't regret it. And that was a really beautiful moment too. So
yeah, I agree.
Yes, Emily agrees with the dress scene. All right, I will let you ladies go now, but thank you so much for spending quite a lot of your Saturday with me. And thank you so much, Emily, for being here the whole time with us.
Thank you, Emily.
You make it just like exponentially better.
You didn't miss a single one.
Yeah,
awesome. Just awesome.
It really was. And thank you for joining us, the Dawdling Raider. You have some really like incisive comments, like really thoughtful comments. So we really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Probably because you're a writer. This is your craft. So awesome. And the next live show, I forgot, I have the date here for you guys. I finally remembered to actually bring it. The next live show for Wild Magic will be October 4th that's a Saturday, at 10:15 a.m. So same time as this one.
Same time, same place.
Oh yes, and thanks, Grad. Thanks for joining. I should say thank you everybody for watching and for joining us.
Yes.
We really appreciate you. Even if you never leave a comment, we're like, thanks for hanging out with us. That was really nice. And thanks for saying hi, 8th grad. And hopefully we'll see you at the next show.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.